Okay, let's see. I'm gonna see if I can. Here we go. Cool. Hopefully everybody can hear me. There's no one. Hello, hello. All right. I got this new contraption I'm gonna try out. I don't know if this is gonna work. We're gonna see. Let's see. So I'm gonna flip the camera. We're doing a pixie cut, and I'm gonna put it here. So if you get sick, you know, shout out. Let's see here. Okay. Flip the camera. All right. Let's see. Does this work? Can I see my hands here? Kind of looking at my other screen to see if I can. This might be like really cool, or this might be awful. Okay. So, this is my mom. We're doing a pixie cut on her today.
Oh, we are we?
Isn't that what you wanted? Because that's what the video's called. You can't change it now.
Okay.
Is this okay? Can everybody see, kind of? She's got a little hairspray in there. So we're just kind of trimming this up. Let's see. Spraying it down, trimming it up. You know what? I can't even see my phone. So if people ask for comments, I can't tell. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to put this over here. I don't know if you can read the comments. Mother dear. Try not to. Can you even see the comments there? Or no? Is that too far away?
It's too far away.
Okay, well, don't comment because I can't hear you. Sorry about my dirty dishes. This way I can see if I'm lined up at least. All right, so there it is. Combing and dampening. We're just gonna kind of trim up what she's got here. This is kind of a pixie cut, or like kind of an old lady bubble.
Is that what you call it?
No offense. Okay. All right, get it real wet right here. And then is this still okay to see? Let's move it up. All right, where's my thing? Okay. All right, so we're starting in the center back. She likes to keep a little bit of length. I'm going to tilt her head forward for a flat surface. We like to keep a little bit of length around the neck so that if she wants to curl it under, she has that option. So how much do we want to take off today?
Probably about an inch.
An inch. It's been a little while, so we're going to take about an inch. So I'm going to start, and she likes to have it a little bit feathered at the bottom. That's like kind of the difference between a man's haircut and a woman, is like the finishing. The perimeter is a little more feathered, and the ears are a little more pointed around the ear, and the bangs are a little bit longer in the front. So I'm just going to start in the center back, and I'm taking off an inch, and I'm just going to point cut. I'm using my thumb to move my cutting blade, not chomping at it with my whole hand. And just working from the center to the outside, splitting that distance in half. And okay, now I'm coming around the side. I'm going to section this into 3 sections. So starting at the apex and bring this down a little bit. There we go. Going down to where the ear connects here, taking this all forward. And the reason I'm going to where this ear connects is because that's where the hair is naturally going to fall in front of the ear, and this is going to fall behind the ear. So I don't want to take it over here because then she's not going to wear it with all this pushed forward. So we're going to go take this, bring this forward. Okay, and I like to usually, even if they wear it going back, I like to bring it all forward and cut that shape here, and then they can wear it back or forward. So we're going to start with like the length right here. She wants it cut nice out around her ear. So we always want to point this with a woman's haircut and make it straight with a men's. That's going to give it more of a feminine look if we make it into a point around those ears. So I'm going to take this and I'm angling my fingers so that I'm creating that point and just following that straight down like that. I'm going to leave it a little long and I can kind of go back and clean it up. And now I'm going to go around her ear. And this is the tricky part because you don't want to go too horizontal or you're going to start creating like a weird layer or line here. So you really want to bring this and over direct it in a C shape forward around the ear. So we hold on to this and we're going to bring it here, C shape it, and bring it up like that. See how that's a kind of a C shape here, and then we're going to just follow that down. Does that look like it's getting people sick? So we're over directing it towards the face. And just going all the way down to the bottom. And I usually ask my customer if they want to see the hair from the front, like around the neck, if they want to be able to see some wispies or if they want it kind of clean.
I don't want any wispies.
Okay, she wants it more clean, so you can't really see. But she does want enough hair here that she can kind of curl it under.
Right.
Does it seem like it's high enough, or should I push it up a little more? Let's see. It's like in my mouth if I'm doing it this way, but whatever. So now I'm just gonna kind of check and see if there's any long hairs I might have skipped here and just kind of clean it up freehand. And take off any little edges. I'm going to work up again on the other side, starting on the apex here, all the way down to where that ear connects. And then again, I want to go to the front and kind of check to see where the length is here. So I have it equal and symmetrical on both sides. So I'm taking this down and I'm kind of angling my fingers upwards so that I create that pointed shape around the ear. Take off that little piece here. Okay, now that I got that shape, I'm going to go and angle towards the face because I don't want to, you got to be really careful not to cut too much in this direction or you get this weird layer right here. So anything from where the ear attaches back, you want to angle in almost like a C shape towards the face. My mom's got a lot of curl in her hair, so it kind of just does what it wants over here. A mind of its own. Can you still see? All right, so I'm angling it towards the face, a little bit of over direction, so that we don't get too much of this weird ridged layer. Now I'm going to just kind of comb it down where it's going to lay and just kind of clean up any long pieces by eyeballing it. freehanding there. Okay. Take a little bit more off. There's like a little long random one there. Boop. And I will come back to this and kind of clean it up at the very end just to make sure. But now I'm going to go and I'm just going to check, see if we're even on both sides, see if it looks like it's symmetrical. Seems pretty good. Okay, so now I got the back perimeter done. And keep in mind that this haircut always looks really, really bad until it is done. Like, especially when you're starting with long hair, it looks like a weird bowl cut. And then when you put in the layers and you finish it, then it starts to take shape and look really good. So now I'm gonna move on to the front. And starting the center front, I'm going to create a little small guide, large enough to see, small enough to adjust, of where I want her bangs to fall. So she likes her bangs about eyebrows, right?
Right.
So we're gonna I'm gonna pull down this with tension and then release that tension because I wanna keep in mind that I have cowlicks there and they will jump. And then just gonna start, I always start smaller, so 1/2 inch. And that jumps up pretty good. That's about eyebrow length there. So now I'm just gonna follow this shape all the way down, kind of round it around the face on either side to connect it to the length over here by the ear. So I'm taking this straight down, using tension. I got my guide right here, if you can see that. Using tension and then releasing, allowing it to jump, and then following that shape down towards the face. And you kind of want to cut this line off in case they want to wear it forward and have like wispy here. You don't want it to go in their eyes. You want to make sure that's nice and symmetrical on either side so they don't have, in case they do want to wear it forward, they want to have that no long pieces. So I'm just going to kind of point cut this just to give it a little bit of a wispier finish. And she tends to wear it going back, so I want to keep it a little bit longer so it has enough length to bend. Okay, I'm coming around on this side and doing the same thing. So we're starting here. There's my guide right here. I'm just gonna bring this around. Let's see. Get out of the light. Again, I'm kind of going in and point cutting. I'm creating kind of a little bit of a angle right here, so that we're not just going straight across and then down. Where we want, nice rounded edge. Gives it more of a feminine look. Okay, let's see. And then I'm going to take this side, pull it forward, and this side. Make sure that we're matching here. So let me take a little bit more right off here. Okay. So now we got the perimeter pretty much done. Let's see, is this working? I wonder if this would be better on my head. Can you see better up here? Is this too much? I actually have a head strap that I can wear. That might be too high.
That's a little too high.
What does this say? The host is back. Make some noisy. What does that mean? Okay, look at all these people. 200 people watching. Okay. Watching me wear this thing on my head. Okay, so I'm just gonna.
No, you're looking at my feet.
Uh-oh, you don't want to see that. Okay. Are we up more?
It's like delayed, so.
Okay. So now we've got our front guide here, and we want to create a top guide. And this top guide, we want to make sure that it's, we don't cut it so short that it's going to stand straight up. So we always want to check with the bend of the hair. So let's see the best way you can try to see this. I can't see what I'm looking at. So you can see when I take the hair and I bend it, this right here is the bend of the hair. So I want to cut it here in order for it to not to stand up straight. If I cut it here, boom, straight up. Or anywhere below this little bend right here. So I want to cut it here so it doesn't stand up. And you usually want to check that, see how there's a cowlick right here. So if we're seeing that her hair is kind of standing up where this little circle cowlick takes place, we have to remember, we can already see the bend. We got to cut it no shorter than this for it not to stand up, because that's the bend right here. Is that even, can you even see that? Okay, so I'm starting the center top at the apex, checking for that bend, and I'm going to remove about 1 inch and create my top guide there. And I'm just going to also just drop it and make sure that I did cut it correctly and it still is bending at the top there. So I'm going to lay this down and take a section from either side of that center part and create my top guide. So I'm always cutting from short to long. So if I can see that I've got my guide here and my guide here, it's pretty even, maybe a little shorter in the front. So I'm going to come around the other side. And this is probably a little easier to see. Don't mind my messy kitchen. And just angle my fingers up so that I'm cutting from short to long. So we see my guide here. And we're just going to take it all the way where my guide is here. Not cutting past my second knuckle. The tension is even in between these fingers. After the second knuckle, you have looser tension. So you want to maintain even tension. And you don't want to cut yourself because that would be bad. So let me, actually, it seems like it's a little easier to see. This is tricky. Tricky. Does that angle better? Okay. How are we doing here? Okay, so now I'm going to split that guide in half so that I have a little bit of it on either side. So when I'm traveling around, I can keep my guide in view. And then I'm going to use small triangle sections here and just work my way around doing the layers. So taking this straight up, and because there's like a recession right here and there's, less hair in this hairline, I want to make sure that this hairline falls out because I don't want to cut a hole into the hairline. So let's see, I'm going to turn this way so you can see better. So I'm bringing this up. I've got my guide in view right here. I've got where I'm headed right here, and I'm just going to take that hair off. Now I'm taking half of that section and combing it out of the way, and then using the other half as a guide for my next section. I don't want my section to be any wider than the width of my comb, or else I'm over directing. So I'm taking this straight up. I've got my guide in view here and here. I'm going to let this drop out so that we don't create that hole, and then take that off. And then again, splitting that section in half and working around the head shape. So until you get past this recession area, you want to always let that drop out. I mean, you never want to cut into your design line, but especially important right there. But once we get past that recession area, we can start following the head shape around. Whereas right now, we're just preserving weight at the bottom. So we're not following the head shape. We're just cutting it more at an angle upwards or straight across. Okay. So I'm still in that recession area. So I'm bringing this straight up from where the head grows, making sure that drops out, and just taking that off. Again, half of that section becomes my guide for the next section. I'm still a little bit in the recession there, so I want to be careful again. Just taking this off right here. Okay, now that I'm past this recession area, I don't have to worry about cutting into my front design line. Now I can kind of start to angle my shape downwards so that I'm removing weight. I'm going to get a little more water on this first. Sorry. Oil. Oh. Yeah, it's always good to keep it, pretty saturated. You want even saturation so that you can have even tension and it helps with nice clean sections. So making nice clean sections, and I'm working in a pattern just around the head shape, walking around. Okay, again, starting, bring this straight up. Now I'm going to start working around the head shape here. So I'm following this head shape down. Okay. And combing that section out of the way, making a nice clean section here. And it looks like there's like a bald spot, but I swear she doesn't have a bald spot. I don't know, this is the camera angle. No, yeah. I didn't do it. No. Just gonna straight up. And we're not taking too much here. Let me see, make sure I have my guide here because I'm not taking very much off. Let me see. Just gonna check again. I always wanna make sure, always have your guide in view. If you're not sure, then go find it. Don't just guess. So I've got my guide right there. Sometimes when you come around this area, it gets a little tricky to see your guide. So I'm gonna make sure that we got it in all sights. There it is, right there. Okay. If you don't have your guide in view, don't cut, just don't guess, just find it. So now we're working around her head shape. I'm gonna tilt her head kind of to the side here so I'm not manipulating my body. I don't want to be bending over, taking a little more off here, and just working down as far as that's comfortable around her head. So this is like a circle shape going around. Bringing it down, kind of, my hand is hugging more against the neck here so that I can kind of taper it down a little bit. We don't want it to be too tapered because she does want to have length that she can kind of curl under in the back there. Okay. Taking half of that section, moving it out of the way, and then moving on. Nice, clean sections all the way down. You always want to have really clean sections, working in an organized manner. It's going to give you a better haircut than just grabbing at it. One time when I was brand new, someone said, "It seems like you're just grabbing chunks." And I said, "I am." That's not what people want to see you do on their head. Just grabbing random chunks. They want to see you working organized and clean sectioning. How are we doing? Can we see all this? Does this look like a good view? Sorry if you can't see, this is a new contraption. I also have one that goes on my forehead. I don't know if that would be a better view, but I'll try that in the next video and we'll see. Compare. Okay. So I'm taking, if I'm not answering your comments, is because I'm doing this thing right here. I can't see them. This thing is like on my neck. So yeah. Okay. So now we're again taking another section, making a nice clean section. Now I'm just kind of traveling around her head shape, and I want to be over directing it the same way. So I'm going straight up. See my guide right here, and following the head shape around. I'm not going to cut all this because that's past my second knuckle, and I want to make sure that I have even tension all the way around. So I'm following, and then I'm going to have her tilt her head forward so that I'm not bending my body. I got to be here for 8 hours. She's got to be here for 30 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever. So I want to make sure that she's the one uncomfortable. No, just kidding. I mean, you want to make sure that you're not hurting your body at the end of the day. They can just easily put their head down. But when you're bending, when you look in the mirror and you're bending halfway over at the waist, doing half moon pose, trying to cut hair, it's not going to be good for you at the end of the day. I'm just following the head shape around, leaving a little bit of extra length at the bottom again so she can curl it under. And then taking that section, half of that, combing it out of the way. Nice clean sections. All right. We're just working around this head shape. There's my guide. I'm just following it around, making sure I'm getting all this hair up. I like to kind of work in a rhythm, you know, not over combing. Like when you start to over comb, that's a really good sign that you don't know what you're doing. I one time watched a girl comb someone's hair for my entire lunch break. She was new. It was 30 minutes of combing someone's hair. I was like, you gotta cut it eventually, girl. You gotta get past that fear. Because how are you gonna get better at cutting hair unless you do it? And that's the thing. When you first start doing hair, you're no good. And you can ask my mom, were my haircuts any good when I first started? Yeah. No, she wouldn't even let me cut it actually at the very beginning. She's like, well, let me just let you get some practice in. And, and I gave her some doozies for sure. But she wore it with a smile,
Fortunately, I have naturally curly hair.
Yeah. She wore hats, a lot of hats, But she's a trooper. But now we're getting better at it. But that's the thing. When you first start, you're no good. Your work is not good. And it's very hard as someone who is, usually you get into this career because you're, a trendsetter. You enjoy trends. You're artistic. You're creative. And to be doing work that's not good is very hard. And a lot of people then just give up. And I think you have to keep going. You have to get past that initial bad stage. And that bad stage might last 5 years. I mean, I think it takes about 5 years before you're really, good. And the only way to get good is to do volumes and volumes of work. You have to just keep cutting hair and not cutting doll heads because those things don't have opinions and they all have the same hair, right? You've got to cut everyone that will let you, but not your family maybe at the start. Start with strangers. Don't, because you start cutting your family's hair at the beginning, and then they don't trust you, and then they bring it up every Christmas about that haircut you gave them that one time, and that's hard to live down. So you want to, start with people who are you're never gonna see again. All right, so we're working around this head shape. Hopefully this camera's not too shaky for y'all. Okay, so you got my guiding view there. Just working around here. Nice clean sections. I'm only taking enough in my hand that I can easily control. I don't want to have so much hair in my hand that I can't have control over it. And I'm going to tilt her head to the side a little bit so then I can follow this shape around. And going down towards that ear. And taking her forward. Half of that section out of the way. Taking my next section here. I don't want my section to be much wider than the width of my comb because I don't want to be over directing. And we're just, again, following that head shape around. So now that I'm getting towards the side, I'm going to tilt her head to the side so that I don't have to tilt my body. I'm not moving much at the waist. And then we're going to, again, move half of this out of the way. And let's see, we're going to get that center part again. So make sure that we're not cutting into that previously cut section on the other side. Okay, bring it straight up at the top there. And again, tilting that head to the side. And going around. And now we're going to start coming towards that recession area again, right by here, right by the hairline. So we're not going to follow it all the way down. Let's see if we're starting to get in that recession. So we're going to have her straight up and make sure that a lot of that falls out. All right, so I'm kind of tilting up, making sure this drops out. I'm just taking off this. Don't want to grab too much of that other side in there. Also, I'm going to start creating holes. I don't want to do that. So this is going to drop out. Half of that previous section, now we're in the bangs. I want to make sure that the bangs are not going to, I want to leave that length there. Just take off that little bit. Okay, so now we've layered it. At least the top has been layered. So now we're going to come around. Is this harder to see? I wonder if these lights are actually making it worse. Move this and you tell me if this is better. Or you can't really tell me because I can't even see if you are talking to me. Okay. So now we're
not even looking at my head right now.
Well, I'm moving the light in that.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
it's delayed. Yeah, so now I'm going on the top and I'm just checking for balance. So what I'm looking for is a shape that's kind of like a half circle here. Just looking, oh, there's like a little long piece right there. Let's see. Okay. So it looks, okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and go back around to the front. I'll bring her, she parts it, let's see, this side or this side?
Yeah, this way.
This way. Like the only person in America besides myself that parts it this way. Going this way. We're going to kind of put it how she wears it here. And then this kind of goes back, right? Kind of put it like in a way that she might style it there. Okay, so now I'm going to come around and just check these sides to make sure that we don't have any, long hairs traveling randomly past where our layers are. So this side, I see that it's a little bit long here, so I'm just going to take a little bit, but I have to be careful because this is that, recession front framing. So I'm just going to point cut just a little pieces off, making sure I'm not cutting too much into my design line there. And going in here, and just looking for like peaks and valleys and just taking any longer pieces, kind of point cutting, texturizing, giving it a little bit of a textured finish. And as I get past this ear, now I'm going to start checking to see if I took enough towards the bottom. If someone wanted it tapered, I'd probably take even more. Since she doesn't want it too tapered, I'm gonna probably just take a little bit, if anything. So I'm just looking just for tiny, tiny bits of hair that maybe travel past that design line. Looks good. Okay. And then this is a quick check. We're not living here. We're not cutting a lot here because if you see that it needs a lot taken off, then you go back to your cutting position. This is just a very quick check, a quick cleanup to make sure you didn't skip any sections. And like I said, it's not as clean of partings. It's very quickly just kind of skimming through just to make sure that we got it all. We don't want to leave her with some random long pieces. Let's spin you here because I think it's best when you're this way. Just checking it out, looking for any random long pieces here. Giving a little bit of texture on those sides. And again, I know that this is by that face framing, so I want to be careful not to cut into it. I'm just going to texturize a little bit, point cutting. Okay. So now I'm just going to kind of go Make sure we're looking like we should look. I might want to clean up these ears a tiny bit just so that they're more clean. Oh, let me, where's my little, there. Sorry if this is shaky all over the place and you guys are sick to your stomachs, like the Blair Witch Project. Okay, just looking at her, I'm gonna kind of just freehand this, and this is important that you really make sure you get all these little tiny hairs out, especially with the masks. I always go under and kind of push towards myself just so and make sure I'm not gonna get the earlobe or cut the ear. Knock on wood, I have yet to cut anybody's ear in 10 years, but I think I just jinxed myself. I don't even know what I would do if it happened.
Yeah, I don't want to be the first.
Yeah, and I always try to put my fingers there if possible, or I use like my trimmer, and I'm just kind of point cutting this, taking little bits of, so it's a little more clean around that ear. And making sure this kind of flows nice. And it's okay if it's like sticks out a little bit here, because she's gonna, when she styles it, we can kind of use our fingers and manipulate it so it doesn't, the curl goes in the direction that we want it to. Just making sure that this all looks good. I'm gonna take a little there, and then we're gonna spin her around and do this side. Again, just putting my scissors under there. Pulling it towards myself here. Going under. Just taking a little bit. Remember, you don't want to be pulling all this forward and taking it off, or you're going to have this weird line. You only want to customize, or take this off. That's where the ear connects and forward. After that, we start C-shaping it towards the face. And that's the trickiest part about these cuts, is this ear, because you want it to like naturally fall nice around that ear. So anything from where this ear connects right here and back, you're going to over direct and C-shape it forward towards the face. Unless they want like a really, really close cut. But then you can move the ear out of the way, C-shape it forward here, and cut along the skin. Okay, just checking again for any strays. I'm going to look at her neck here, see if there's anything we need to clean up. Looks pretty good. All right. I can also go through and go the opposite way with my comb, pulling it up and under this way so that I can see, making sure we're the same length. Like I see there's like one little, just kind of going scissor over comb and just checking to make sure that one side's not much longer than the other way, because when we're checking going vertical, we're not able to see if we're gradually getting longer on either side. So I always like to kind of horizontally check too. And that looks pretty good. So the way she's gonna style this is gonna be nice, because this will kind of bend backwards, and this, you can kind of comb the bangs under and front, take this sides back, and then tuck this under. And there's enough hair there she can get like a little brush or a curling underneath that if she wants. But it's not so full that there's like this mullet look. It's hugging the head shape, which is why we went through and took out the weight through all of this too, because you want it to kind of hug that head shape and then curl under at the bottom. So I don't have a blow dryer down here, so that's it for this one, I guess, unless I have a blow dryer in here. No, I don't. Okay. Well, so I would show you the finished look, but it's gonna be a minute because I gotta find my blow dryer. But that's pretty much it for this cut. I can post a picture of it all styled on my Instagram page, The Happy Hairstylist, and I usually repost my videos on my YouTube channel, The Happy Hairstylist, as well, if you want to go check that out, because I need some followers on there so I can start getting paid. All right, guys. So thank you so much for spending some time with me. Come October 5th, I'm going to be having a little interview, or not an interview, but like a chat with Teresa Van Dam. If you guys follow her, really awesome stylist. So check that out. That's going to be at 2 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Central. Come see me there. And I'm also going to start doing color classes once a week, just an hour long, kind of starting basic and getting more advanced as the weeks go on. So check that out, and I will post all that information on my bio. So thanks again. I know time is something that you can't get back, so I appreciate you spending it with me. Have a great day, you guys. Happy hairstyling. Bye-bye. My mom is lovely. Oh, thank you.